I guess it would have helped if I'd undone the Velcro before I put that on. Okay. Every year it turns out I'm the same stupid nitwit that I was the year before. Hey guys, it is, well, do you recognize me? I mean, do you know me? I know you. You guys are, what are you guys? Subscribers! Yes, subscribers. And I want to thank you very, very much for hanging in there for all these months when I've been completely quiet. And I really want to thank you guys also for so many people that just reached out with private messages and things like that, just asking if I was okay, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot. So I have 2 vlogs planned right now. One of them is this one, and I think I'm going to call this something like the dark vlog or something to that effect, because it's basically going to talk about what has gone on over the past few months with my life. And obviously it's not a dark vlog. It's beautiful out here. It's like 74, well, I don't think it's really 74, but I think it's probably high 60s. And just an awesome spring day. And, but anyway, I actually made a long vlog about a week ago. And it was so long that I listened to it and I said, nah, I can't post that. I would put people to sleep in no time. So I've decided to shorten this up and just give you a brief summary of what on earth has gone on with me in the last 6 months or so, 7 months. It's incredible. So here's just as brief as I can make it. And then I really want to get into, just forget the past, forget the dark vlog stuff, and just move ahead, because I've got big plans this summer for my channel. I'm really, really looking forward to it. But that'll be a separate vlog. That'll be the bright vlog or something. I don't know. Been driving a car too much. I almost forgot to put my feet down. That would have been nice. That reminds me of a guy that I know, and he had a story that just absolutely cracked me up. He had gone shopping with a friend of his for a bike, and his friend bought a new Harley. It was his first really big bagger / tourer, and I forgot what model it was. It might have been the Electric Glide or something. And anyway, it had floorboards, and so he said his friend, he's driving behind his friend, or riding behind his friend, and it's like, his friend's first time on this bike, his first venture out on this big bike that he just bought. And he said they got to the end of the parking lot and were going to turn left or whatever onto the street, and he watches his friend literally just go thud on his side. He said it was just amazing. He said he didn't even try to stop himself. So he goes over and he goes, "Hey man, you okay? What happened?" And he goes, he's just got this stunned look on his face, and he goes, "I've never had floorboards before. I forgot that my feet weren't down." He goes, "I thought my feet were down, and so you have to kind of get used to sometimes the fact that you've got these floorboards." Oh gosh, that just cracked me up. That whole mental image of forgetting that your feet weren't actually down on the pavement. So let me, before I get into my little vloggity vlog, I'm going to get my food, as I typically do, although I'm just going to get coffee. Okay, so now I can actually talk to you guys about what has gone on. So I don't know exactly when I stopped vlogging, but I'll bet you it was in that range of like September, something like that. Feels like it was in that range. What was my last vlog? Like, I love and hate the Drift Ghost? Is that what it was? So anyway, You know what? Let's just take the long way here. Why not? Let's just have a nice talk, and I'll just take the long way. Oh, man, that feels good, but I don't want the wind to totally kill my audio here. So, anyway, last September, so just a brief thing here. One thing I haven't really talked about a lot is my wife, and she is a brain tumor survivor from, gosh, it was originally diagnosed 16 years ago, next month. And she had a grapefruit-sized malignant tumor in her brain. She had surgery. Long story short, she had 3 surgeries on her brain and 1 on cancerous lymph nodes in her neck. Doctors gave her very little chance to live, even a year or 6 months, and now we're going on 14 years. Did I say 16 before? I meant 14. I have apparently forgotten what year it is. That's incredible. So, but one of the surgeries that was done was a right frontal lobectomy, which removed the right frontal part of her brain. So, she does need some help. She needs some care, but she is wonderful. She is just fantastic, and she keeps me strong. She keeps me laughing. It's absolutely fantastic, and so anyway, that's just a really quick background there. One of the things that gets affected with things like that is balance, and her balance isn't fantastic. We were at Sally's, our friend Sally had a surprise birthday party last September, and we were there, and basically, unfortunately, it was held on the second floor of a restaurant, and boy, my tire pressure is a little bit low, but that's okay. And on the way down, typically, I try to walk down in front of her when we're going downstairs. But there were just so many people leaving, and we were all kind of leaving at once, a big clump of people, and she was about 10 feet in front of me, and I just didn't get there, and all of a sudden I'm watching her go down the stairs, and she's about maybe 5 steps in front of me, 4 steps in front of me, and she started to lose her balance and gain momentum, and the stairs curved off to the left at the bottom, and she hit that, bounced, and then landed on the back of her head and her back on a hardwood floor. So she skipped the last 4 steps, flew, and just went bam on the back of her head. I didn't think anybody could survive a sound like that. What I heard from her head hitting the floor, it was incredible. So anyway, long story short, brought to a local hospital. They do an MRI, they see a brain bleed, they send her up to Boston, up at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and she was there for 2 weeks, all sorts of issues, and they stupidly withheld a lot of medications from her that she's been on for years, and despite my best efforts to tell them not to, because you can have a seizure when withheld off of these medications for too long, and sure enough, 7 days later, she did have a seizure. And now she's on anti-seizure medicine forever. So, and they've even admitted to me, yeah, it was our fault. That's what caused the seizure. And that's just so stupid to me. Anyway, regardless, the seizures are done. That hasn't happened again. But, primarily because of this anti-seizure medication, I'm sure. Then she was up at Spaulding Rehab for 2 weeks. Spaulding Rehab up in Charlestown, Mass. is just an incredible place. I have nothing but good things to say about that place. Usually you can recommend almost any place with certain reservations. I have no reservations about this place. The people are incredible. The facility is incredible. Spaulding is truly just a world-class rehab. So if you have a loved one that you happen to be in the Boston area and you need to get them really good rehabilitation services, see if you can get in there. It's not easy to get into, but she was able to, and she was there for 2 weeks. So she came home on October 14th. Well, basically, one of the things they did when she got to Brigham and Women's, I was going to make this a short vlog, wasn't I, is they did a full body scan, and they found things like a nodule in her right lung, which was concerning to them. They found something with a colon, but it turned out to be nothing to be too worried about, supposedly. And then they also found 17 kidney stones. 17 of those little suckers. So now, when she got home in October, she needed, some help, obviously, and so I was kind of busy with that. But, really not a lot more than she had needed in the past. That's not my excuse for not vlogging, but it was just the whole winter we spent with her having lithotripsies, where they go up into the ureter and they actually will go up into the kidney and it'll get rid of these kidney stones. But it's a pretty big deal. I mean, they put you out, they put you under for it. So we spent a lot of time driving up to Boston. We had to stay over in Boston. And there were 7 of those in 6 months. And her last one was in February, the middle of February. And, usually right around the beginning of March, I start to ride again. But I had a pretty big issue. Around March 1st, my wife had some pain in her right knee. And by the second or third, whenever it was, by the next day, it was pretty severe, and she couldn't even walk on it. And I think the following day I brought her to the ER, and again, I'm going to really, really condense just a lot of things here, but basically they diagnosed pseudo-gout, where there are these calcium pyrophosphate crystals in the knee. And from what I've heard, gout and pseudo-gout is just about the most painful thing that you can have. I mean, the people I've talked to have said, yeah, I had 2 kids, and that childbirth was like a 4, and this is like a 10. So anyway, that's what they diagnosed, and pseudo-gout's supposed to get better within, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 1 to 3 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, in that range. She was in the hospital for, I want to say 2 weeks, I believe, and then transferred to a nursing home for about 5 weeks, and it really wasn't improving all that much. But anyway, took her to, I set up appointments with various doctors, orthopedists, guys like that. It was just incredibly busy. All through the last couple of months have just been amazingly busy. She couldn't walk. She couldn't even move. If her feet were splayed out to the left and right, she couldn't move them in because of the pain in her knees. She just couldn't do it. So it's incredible to think that I got her home about a week and a half ago. She was due to be discharged a week ago, actually, last Tuesday, but she was really getting down in the nursing home. She was just starting to rebel. She was refusing to take pills. She was just down. She'd been in there, like I said, maybe 6 or 7 weeks, I want to say. And so I told him, I said, no, I think we need to just get her home now, and so I got her home, and it's been a lot of work, but she is doing a lot better. She's walking. She's sometimes walking without a walker, which is, really good. But I've also had to be home a lot because we've had a lot of visiting aides and stuff, or visiting nurses, really. Physical therapy has been coming in, so I have to kind of get her up in the morning and get her showered and dressed and stuff like that. So anyway, I've had the winter from hell, and maybe I'll do a longer thing about it at some point, but I just wanted to make a quick thing saying I haven't forgotten vlogging. The other thing was the fact that I lost so much data. As you guys remember, I had a vlog called My Data Disaster, and it was basically me talking about the fact that that I had screwed up, and I lost close to about 8 terabytes of data, all sorts of stuff, including a lot of personal videos that were just really, really dear to me. Not just my motorcycling stuff, but everything, family events, Thanksgivings and Christmases, and Easter dinners, and just all kinds of things that I lost. And not only did that affect my vlogging to the point, because of the fact that I didn't have a lot of the motorcycle videos that I would typically work on through the winter. I build up a collection in the summers, and then I kind of work on them through the winters. But I also was just down. I was just incredibly depressed between everything going on with my wife, and then having lost footage of, you know, my father, my mother, and you know, I just got really down. But spring has sprung, and my wife is doing okay, you know, doing reasonably okay. She's able to walk, and you know, I've just decided, okay, I'm going to start making new memories. Yes, I lost a lot of stuff, but I'm going to make new ones, and this year is going to be, I think, if everything goes correctly and the way I plan, it's going to be a really neat year for my channel. So I'm going to save that for my next vlog, which is going to tell you all of the really cool stuff that I have planned. And at least it's cool to me. I mean, it might not really amount to a hill of beans for you, but to me, I think it's pretty cool. So I will do that, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for those that kind of hung in there, and especially to those of you that reached out and just, you know, asked how I was doing. It's really appreciated. I told you guys in my first ever moto vlog, the reason I wanted to do this is, in addition to just posterity, but also wanting to just, I love the little community of people that sprouts up when vlogging occurs, and that's certainly been the case here. And I really, really am appreciative of all of you guys that view or subscribe to my channel. So thank you for that, and I will talk to you guys later after I negotiate this little intersection of death. What are we doing? Are we really going? Okay. I mean, guy, stop it. He didn't really tell us to go, so we were all just sitting there like, what? Okay, on that point of confusion, I shall leave you and bid you adieu, and really look forward to my next video, because that's going to be an up video. That's going to be, I think, a really, really good one. So I will see you guys then, whatever I just said, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.